Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jeffrey.Tabois. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a licensed real estate agent in New York City. And today we're going to discuss renting your apartment in New York City. The things to do versus the things not to do, okay? Stick with me, it's going to be very packed. We're going to have a lot of stories to tell and give you guys great information. That way you can go about getting your apartment quickly and hassle-free, okay? Stay tuned and enjoy the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, okay? Mr_all_access. Okay, so whether you're new to New York City or you've been in New York all your life, renting an apartment in New York could be a hassle. There are many things that you have to go through, many hoops that you have to jump through, and little ins and outs of stuff that you need to know in order to be successful in renting an apartment, okay? So today we're gonna talk about the major things that you need to keep in mind when renting your apartment, okay? First things first is I'm gonna start off with paperwork. Okay, so my handwriting's not that great, but I'm a guy. It's okay to be sloppy. Let's put some exclamation points there. We'll throw a smiley face. Okay, so paperwork. Now, New York City is a fast-moving market, okay? The people in here, such as myself, we talk fast, we walk fast, and trust me when I tell you your apartment will be on and off the market faster than you can say, what? Okay, so paperwork is going to be your number one priority in making sure that you don't miss out on the deals. What type of paperwork do you need? You need the following. For those of you who work for an employer, doesn't matter if you're international or not, you need a letter of employment. So I'll just write LOE because I'm not going to spell the whole thing. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is half the battle. A lot of people don't understand that this letter of employment will state everything we need to know about your employment history. It'll state when you were hired, what your salary is, if you have a bonus or not. And that's very important to pay attention to because a lot of people like to include their bonus as their earned income. Now, some of you might be saying, Jeff, what the hell are you talking about? If the company gives me a bonus, of course that's my earned income. I earned it and I paid taxes on it. You're damn right you did. But your bonus here, yes, that's how you spell bonus, yeah. So your bonus here, right? And I'm gonna give you a quick example. So let's say you need a $2,000 apartment, right? This is not unheard of in New York City, specifically in Manhattan. $2,000 apartments, they're even hard to find. The good ones, I'm not gonna go into that. But let's say you want a $2,000 apartment, right? You come in, you come and see me, you go, hey Jeff, I got my letter of employment, let me give it to you. It says the following. John Doe has been employed at our firm or our company for a year. That's also very important. New York City landlords want to make sure that you've been employed for a year. If you haven't been employed for a year, you run into your first hiccup. Most likely you're going to need a guarantor, which you can ask a family friend, a family member, a friend, or a company. There are plenty of companies out there that'll be your guarantor, and they will then give you one of those certificates saying that, hey, look, we're going to guarantee this apartment. You do have to pay them for that, but that is a way that people get their apartments. A lot of people get guarantors. It's not uncommon. Trust me, I've done this a lot. But anyways, so let's say your apartment is $2,000, right? So your employment letter says, yeah, John Doe's been working for a year. John Doe has a salary of $60,000. So $60K, there's your salary. And because your job is new, you got this nice little $20K bonus. That's a high signing bonus. But once again, not uncommon. So traditionally, people just seem to combine the two and say, hey, I have $80K. Now, In New York City, your standard is you should be making 40 times the monthly rent. Monthly rent, right? So if we use this terminology, we would say, all right, $2,000, right? $2,000 a month times your 40 times, that's gonna give you 80K, right? That's the salary you need to have in order to afford this $2,000 apartment. Now, back in the day, and I would say before June 14th, we didn't have too many issues, but because now we have new rental laws and they're very strict and they favor tenants, the qualifying bar now is higher. But still, you still need to follow this 40 times the monthly rent income. Don't worry, I'll explain everything of what I mean about the bar being higher. But anyways, so yeah, a lot of people would confuse this and include their bonus into their salary, right? So now when you go shopping, you say, I can afford this $2,000 apartment, and then we get your letter of employment, we see your apartments, we go out, we go show the apartments, we get your letter of employment, and then all of a sudden we find out, whoa, wait a minute, your salary is $60,000 and you have a bonus of $20,000. And in New York City, the landlords don't consider your bonus to be earned income. We just look at it as gift money. Why is it like that? Don't ask me, I don't know. But that's just how it is. This is gift money, okay? This is, I'll explain it this way. Your bonus is not something that you're gonna earn every single year. Usually it's a sign-in bonus, a sign-up bonus, whatever. It's a performance bonus, but it's not something that's guaranteed. So therefore, it's looked at as gift money. That's what that is. So your salary now is really 60K, and you try to get this $2,000 apartment. What will happen to you is because you're short the $20,000, you will get rejected. Yes, that's what happens. You get rejected because you're too far off from the 40 times. You were short $20,000. Now, before June 14th, if you were short, I would say $15,000, all you have to do is probably pay a little extra in security or maybe an extra month up front to close out this deal, okay? Now, what happens is there's some miscommunication where people like to say that the broker forces you to pay extra rent. But in actuality, the tenant is the one who says, listen, I really want this apartment, I don't want to lose it. What are the things that we can do or offer in order to get this deal done? Now, we call up the landlord ahead of time and say, hey, look, client short 15,000. I've never seen a client shorter than 20,000. That's why I said 15 is really my max. I wouldn't advise any one of you to be short more than $15,000. Anyways, but that was prior to June 14th. Now you just can't be short, really. But anyways, so back then when you were short, we call up, hey, Mr. or Miss Landlord, listen, my client's a little short $15,000. The credit's good, the income is what it is. Can we get this deal done if we do an extra month of security or an extra month of rent up front, or a combination of both? My client is willing to do it in order to secure the property. And the landlord would say, okay, we'll take this, we'll take that, whatever it is that they wanted to take back then. And when I mean back then, I mean June 14th of 2019. These are new laws now where you ain't doing that no more. Now, just want to let you know, for everybody's watching, new law states you cannot pay more than 1 month's rent, 1 month's security. That's it. Doesn't matter if you're a foreigner, doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen, doesn't matter. That's the law. 1 month's rent, 1 month's security. Your application fee now can only be $20. Can't be higher than that. That is the law. Follow the law, you'll be good. Don't follow the law, well, I don't know where you're gonna be at. So, anyways, where's my razor? Oh, it's over there. So yes, so being short $20,000 from the goal of 80K, that's a problem. So never confuse your bonus money into your income, okay? Take the time to look at your letter of employment, request it from your HR manager so you know exactly what your salary is, okay? Letter of employment, very important. Let's go to the next one. Okay, So now, the most important thing in your rental application besides your letter of employment is your credit. Oh my God. Bang. Now, we'll just draw. Yeah. Give it a little hair. All right, cool. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be the first to tell you, I don't care how much money you got. You could be a trillionaire, okay? If you want to rent an apartment in New York City and your credit is bad, it's over for you, okay? Especially with these new laws, these new rental laws. Look at it from the perspective of somebody who owns a property. If you are a landlord, you can't charge extra rent, so you have no way of protecting yourself should somebody damage your apartment. Then on top of that, there's laws restricting how much you can increase your rent. There's laws now restricting kicking out tenants in order to upgrade the apartment so you can charge more rent. So with all these loopholes being closed and now making it tenant friendly, the landlord now has to grade harder. And this is what I was talking about. So credit here is a landlord's greatest determining factor of whether or not you get the apartment. It's not income, okay? To be honest, a lot of people have money, okay? In New York City, specifically Manhattan. I see a whole bunch of 6-7 figure income people coming in. They're young, they have a lot of money. Who cares? Your landlord is usually richer than you anyways. Now, how do they determine whether or not you are a good candidate? So credit, and I think I'm going to do a video just on credit for people who have bad credit. We'll see if we can help you boost your credit score, because it's very important to have good credit. Even getting jobs now require credit scores. Anyways, so credit. Credit is your ability to make steady payments over time, right? If you think about it, you have a credit card, you have a gas bill or something, a trade line. Gas bill is considered a trade line. So, or mortgage or loan or something like that. That's all in your credit report. So therefore, your landlord wants to know how you pay your bills. Do you pay them on time? Do you miss any of them? What's the story? Are you in landlord housing court? That's another one, okay? Landlord housing court is when you fail to pay your rent with your previous landlord or current landlord, and for some reason they have to take you to court to get the money owed to you. This sometimes pops up on your credit report. People try to hide this nonsense. It just never works. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy a few years ago when I was working with another firm, and I had a senior partner. Guy comes in, he says, hey, look, I want to get an apartment. I'm making $90,000 a year. I can afford, up to $2,400, right? Remember, this was during the time before June 14 of 2019. So, he was short, but he wasn't that short. Anyways, so now we showed him a couple of properties, and one of the properties that we showed him, he actually liked. The property that we showed him was actually the same landlord that he had already been living in, another building that he's been living in with the landlord. However, this particular building that he liked was in a different location, but it was the same landlord. So we said, okay, well, this should be a slam dunk. It's a new apartment, new location. However, it's the same landlord. So now we're looking at the paperwork, whatever. He gives us all the paperwork, and then all of a sudden now he has a letter of recommendation from the landlord, right? Says, oh, he's been a great tenant, blah, 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 whatever. So we're like, okay, we're going to get this deal done maybe a day or two, maybe a few hours. All of a sudden now, the manager calls us to the office the next following day, right? So we're sitting there like, why do we have to go and see the manager? Both of us. Now, typically, and if you're a real estate agent, you know this. Usually when your deals get approved, the manager comes over, look, you've been approved, or they get on the phone, because they don't want to walk over to you anyways. They get on the phone, hey, look, your guy's been approved, make sure you have this ready, blah, blah, blah. And you go, okay, cool, bye. But should your manager need to call you in, oh, we have a problem. So I'm walking over there, I'm like, all right, come on, let's go, Kev. So we get over there, and he goes, your applicant has a landlord-tenant court issue. So we're looking at each other like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean you have a landlord-tenant court issue? He didn't tell us this. The landlord said they ran his credit, and the landlord-tenant court issue came in. Now we're like, hold on, wait a minute. This is the same landlord, right? But they wrote us a glowing letter of recommendation. So basically what happened was, he had an issue with the management, I don't know how many years ago, but the management decided this client is not best suited for our buildings. So therefore, get him out of our portfolio. We're not taking him this year. We had him already. He had a landlord-tenant court issue. We are done with him. And mind you, this is one of the biggest landlords in New York City. Just want to let you know that. So, so we came to him, we said, look, I think his name was Ben at the time. Yeah, Ben. So we're like, Ben, unfortunately you didn't tell us you had a landlord-tenant court issue. This changes everything now. Now we have to get into a specific area where there's a few landlords now that may accept somebody with a landlord-tenant court issue that's fresh like that. So when you're searching for your apartment, you're thinking, yeah, I have all these options available to me. However, if there's hiccups in your background check, your credit check, well then it can drastically reduce the amount of property that's available to you, regardless of your income or whatever the case might be. So it's always important to be forward on what's going on in your profile than to hide it, because it always comes out anyways. Now, so yes, back to credit. Credit is the most important thing because landlords use it to make sure that they can weed out the bad tenants. So good credit for housing really depends on the management. I've seen management accept something like 620 in Manhattan. This was a couple of years ago. I know they already raised it. I think they're up to like 680, but their portfolio is really small and their apartments are like beat up. They're like really like little apartments, you know what I mean? Whatever. But typically 700 is your good credit score, okay? 700 and above, you get in no problem whatsoever. I've never seen a landlord ask for more than 700. Actually, there was this one dummy. He was like, oh, my owner wants you to have a credit score of 740. I looked at him and I was like, are you on drugs? What's wrong with 740? Whatever. We didn't even go and see that property. I think we didn't get out either. So yeah, 700 is traditionally your standard. However, if you go from borough to borough, this number most likely will drop. Let's say you was in the Bronx, and I've never been in the Bronx. I'm pretty sure you can get away with 680, 660, whatever. I don't do any deals in the Bronx, so don't even bother me with that. But I'm just saying, down there, people have bad credit. Houses got rent, so. So one thing I will tell you is if you do ask or work with an agent, you might want to ask them, hey, look, do you know what the minimal credit score is for approval? This will save you a lot of time. Nobody asks that. Everybody does the same thing. Call up, meet me on the street corner. Stop that. Don't do that. Okay? So, yeah. Some sections of Brooklyn, 680, 700. If any area that's closer to Manhattan, obviously the score is going to have to be higher because, well, it's just how it is. If you're living closer to Manhattan, it's more the expensive neighborhoods, whatever. It doesn't matter if you're in the Bronx, doesn't matter if you're in Queens, Staten Island. As long as your proximity is closer to Manhattan, income will need to be higher, credit will need to be higher. It's just how it is. The further away you are from Manhattan, well, then rents are a little lower. The standard for approval for credit is a little lower. Okay, that's just how it is. If you're looking for an apartment in Manhattan and you're right next to the subway, your rent's going to be higher than somebody who has to walk 4 or 5 blocks to get to the subway. Why is that? Convenience is expensive. Okay, me personally, Manhattan is a place of luxury, not necessity. But to some people, living across the street from your job is a necessity. Okay? So that's credit, okay? Oh, wait, I did want to say this. In terms of credit, like I said before, it is your determining factor. So yes, if your credit score is bad, you're going to get ruled out, okay? It can destroy you. So it's very important that you have good credit, because a good credit score, even if your income is a little short, will still get you in. But a bad credit score, you are out the game. This is the most important thing. You can have SSI, Section 8, you can have FEPS voucher, whatever city program you're on, or you have whatever federal program you could be on, none of that matters. If your credit score is too low, you're out the game, period. Doesn't matter. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is number one, period. Now, we're done with credit. Let's get rid of that. All right, so the next piece of advice is your W-2. Oh, yeah. So your W-2 / 1099 for those of you who are independent contractors. 1099. So, first off, W-2 is really simple. You get at the end of the year, it shows your tax information, your socials on it, how much you earn. So you guys are quick, whatever. This is easy stuff, whatever. You still need to provide that, okay? 1099, on the other hand, is all the earnings that you made untaxed. So untaxed money. Okay, that's me. I'm 1099, I'm untaxed. So what is the difference between the two? Well, you work for an employer over here, they tax you regardless. You don't gotta say nothing. You can die or get hit by a bus. They're still gonna take out your taxes. Me, on the other side over here, all the business owners, small business owners, big business owner, corporations, blah, 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 whatever, we decide and tell the government how much they can tax us. So we take all our income and then we smartly go, if you're smart, let's say I make 100K, right? And I gotta pay 40% taxes, so it should be 40 grand, I believe, yeah. Oh. What am I scribbling there? Let's say I'm paying 40%, so let's do 40K. Ooh, my 40 looks terrible. Right? So $40,000 comes off of my taxes, whatever. Now I'm sitting there going, what the hell is this? Why is the government touching on my money? Well, I can do some strategies where I can say, well, you know, in order to not pay this $40,000, legally, I might add, I may want to purchase something for that $40,000 and consider it to be a business purchase. So I can buy a brand new car, lease a car. Leasing cars is great. I lease a car for $40,000, whatever, or buy one for $40,000, doesn't matter. And now I can say to the government, oh, you remember that $40,000 that you were supposed to take for taxes? Unfortunately, I had to buy a new vehicle. I need to get around, you know. I can't be paying you that. How much is my tax bill now? Zero. Amazon's doing it, they're all doing it. You know, everybody doing it. Not paying taxes legally, amazing. I'm gonna tell you guys here, and this is like a little tangent. You wanna get yourselves out of this bracket and into this bracket right here, okay? I would wish everybody was their own business owner so they didn't have to goddamn pay taxes. You know, I hate taxes, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't like it. When I was poor, taxes. When I'm richer, taxes, I hate them, okay? But anyways, yes, so I'm gonna erase this. Now, I wanted to tell you, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just starting a conversation. Please speak to your CPA about how to avoid taxes legally without getting arrested. Thank you. So, yes, back to my 1099, guys. So yes, your 1099, depending on what's in it, you can have 1099, Schedule C, pass through, a whole bunch of nonsense. You could be deducting money for a lot of things. So we're also going to need that CPA letter stating, okay, I don't got to write that, stating how much money you're keeping after you pay your taxes. Okay, so yeah, CPA letter is very important for these guys over here. The reason being is because, you know, our income looks like this. It can go up, it can go down, whatever the case might be. W-2, your income looks like this, man. Every week, every 2 weeks, whatever, you know what your pay is going to be. You're a salaried employee or you work hourly. I mean, you'll deviate a little bit, but not that much. So a paycheck, a couple of paychecks will tell you how much you're gonna be making depending on when you give in your application. You're still gonna need your W-2. You're still gonna need to provide your 1099. Okay. Next one is going to be I did want to interject about the international people. International renters. You guys should be your own separate video because you guys are very different. So, international rentals, which is my favorite rentals. It used to be my favorite rentals. Now that the deals are so much harder, they're not my favorite anymore. Yes, international rentals are, you know, individuals that come from other countries to either come to work or go to school. Okay, so if you're working, you're most likely going to be on a B1, B2 visa. Okay, visa. Oh shit, that's not how you spell visa. There you go. I can't let you guys see me slipping. So yes. Now, this is very important to have when you're coming over to the United States because the visas tell you how long you're going to be in the States for, how long you're going to be in the country for. So this is also going to tell the landlord how long your lease can be, okay? So if you're on a visa for 6 months, well, you're not going to get an apartment for 1 year. It's just how it works, okay? Now, then there's also internationals that are students. And these students have what we call F1 visa. F1 visa. So that's the student visa, okay? Most of my clients that come from international countries are F1 visa people. They're students, you know? And I love my students, my student friends, you know? So, also the same thing, no difference in between the visas, only that the B1 and B2 are for working people and the F1 is just for students. Now, because you guys are students or because you guys are international, you guys don't have any credit. Now there is maybe one company, I think it's American Express, that works outside of the country. They may have a credit profile for you. So if you're coming from abroad and you have American Express, you may want to call them up and say, hey, look, I'm moving to this country. I don't have any credit, but I want to have some established credit. Is there a way to do like a credit transfer or something like that? I think they have something like that. You would have to speak with them. I'm not 100% certain. But yes, so because you guys don't have no credit, you're going to need a guarantor. So a guarantor is a person, a family member, a friend, a company who will guarantee your apartment, okay? So for guarantors, I need to get some water. So for guarantors, the rule is you got to make 80 times the monthly rent. My God. Anyways, yes, 80 times the monthly rent. It's got to be double. The reason why is because it's you have to think about it this way. Let's say you own or you're renting an apartment somewhere else, right? Or you own your own home. Well, you got to be able to pay the bills in your house as well as be able to cover the person that you're guaranteeing should they not be able to pay the rent. So they've doubled the amount of income they expect you to have as a guarantor. And of course, you still got to go by the same credit. All the paperwork that you're giving in for a regular applicant, the guarantor will be providing the same documents. Credit will still be ran for the guarantor as well. But it's going to be based on the guarantor's financials and credit than it is on the actual applicant living in the house. These are how people get apartments in New York City. Story time. So I had two girls came into the office one time. One was a student. They're not foreign. They're from the country. They're born here. So one was a student. The other girl was working at Starbucks. So one of our partners, team members, had these listings that were stale, so to speak. They were from the winter time, and he forgot to take them down. He was known for leaving them up, right? Used to piss me off a lot. So we got a call. The girl said she wanted to take a look at this apartment. It was a no-fee apartment, right? So we're like, oh crap, it's summertime, and we're already on this wintertime ad. This is gonna be bad. So we called the landlord. We say, hey man, look, do you have any 4-bedroom apartments that's $3,500, right? This is in Harlem. It's in Harlem, right? So now, the landlord said, yeah, we got a few. Also no fee. They're paying. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, all right. So there was only one. Actually, it was only one that they had at the time. So I said, all right, girls, I wasn't doing anything today. I said, let me go out and go show you the apartment. So we go up there, we go look at the apartment. The apartment it was a nice 4-bedroom. You had, you walk in, right? You open the door, right? Boom. It's a long hallway. So it's a really long hallway. There's a bedroom on this side. Then after that, you walk, there's a living room. And then they had the washer, dryer on that side. And then they had 3 more of the bedrooms on that side. So it's like one big L. So then I told the girls, I said, listen, ladies, honestly, I don't see you guys getting this apartment because, you work at Starbucks and, she's not working. Where are you going to get the income to pay for the apartment? So she said, oh, yeah, we have roommates. We can get some roommates to pay for a room, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, all right, no problem. So then we left the apartment. Oh, the apartment was in a walk-up building on the 3rd floor? 4th floor, right? So we left the apartment. I didn't hear back from her for the rest of the day because she wouldn't think about it. So the next day she calls me up. She goes, "Hey, I saw that same apartment that we saw on Craigslist for $100 cheaper, right?" So I'm like, "Oh my God, no!" So basically, another agent decided to advertise it for $100 less because they thought that they could negotiate the rent down, right? Now, because she said she wanted a no-fee apartment, and I'm going to explain this real quickly. A no-fee apartment for a broker who you're asking to help you means that the broker needs to get paid from somebody other than the tenant, which means the broker has to get paid from the landlord, right? If the landlord's not paying the broker, then the broker cannot show you an apartment that is no fee if the broker is not getting paid. So let's say you're shopping by yourself, right? You don't call Jeffrey. If you find the landlord by yourself, you don't pay a broker's fee, right? But if you come with me and I have to help you find an apartment, I'm either gonna find you one where the landlord's gonna pay me, or you're gonna have to pay the fee, right? Because the landlord's not paying me. Landlords don't pay on apartments where they're in the best location, they're close to the subway, they're well priced. But they pay the fee on the apartments that are further away from the subway, they're overpriced, they just want to fill the vacancy. You know what I mean? So this is what happens in that scenario. So if you shop on your own and you don't call the broker and, or the broker that's involved in the transaction says the apartment's no fee, then it's fine. But so this apartment was a no fee for her because the landlord was going to pay us, right? So now she said, yeah, the apartment is listed at $3,300 instead of $3,400. So I said to her, I said, well, you can put an offer in for, shut up. You can put an offer in for $33 if you want to. However, Lord, it's on the block. God damn. Oh, there's so much traffic here. Jeez. Sorry about that. The ambulance is right there, and But anyways. Oh, all right. Let me come back. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. Hold on. Sorry about that, man. That ambulance. When the ambulance comes through, man, you gotta skip the light, man. You just gotta run through that light. You're all good to go. I do it all the time, man. Because New York City, those streets are so small. Anyways, So yeah, so she said, oh, I saw it for 33. So I'm like, okay, well, you can put your offer in for 33. I'm not going to stop you. However, just realize taking $100 off the rent takes $1,200 total off the yearly rent, which means now there's really no incentive for the landlord to pay us, which means the fee now is going to drop on you. So you went from going from no fee to paying a fee, okay? So then she thought about it. She was like, oh, I see. So then now she hangs up. You know, I don't hear from her for like 2 days. Okay. So I'm like, oh, well, I tried. It was one apartment, nothing I can do, blah, blah, blah. So then now I come in 2 days later, and I look at my partner, and my partner goes, guess who just got approved? I'm like, who? And you call them stoner girls, right? And the reason why we did that is because when you saw them, you'd be like, are you high? You ever seen Wolf of Wall Street? It was kind of like that. It's like, are you on something? Is this for real? So I said, so I quickly ran to the table. I said, whoa, what do you mean they got approved? How's that possible? I'm looking at the paperwork. She had a guarantor. The guarantor made $500,000 and great credit. So I was like, oh, okay, that's it. So he put that one to bed. Now, I will tell you this for all the agents that are probably listening. That OP, which OP stands for owner pays, because they were paying us 1 month, that OP took 8 months to get. So imagine you working and you don't see your check for 8 months. And people think our business is just easy money. Yeah, right. So anyways, yes, that is the story of a good guarantor, okay? So yes, you gotta make 80 times the monthly rent income, you gotta have good credit, okay? And your paperwork should be just as flawless as the person who's applying who needs you, right? Now, after that's done with your guarantor, your guarantor could be, there are several guarantors that are companies. One of them is called the Guarantors. The other one's called Insurance. Insurance is IN Insurance, I believe. Yeah, Insurance. And there's a new one now called Rhino. Okay, so what these companies do, what I like about Rhino, from my understanding, Rhino charges you a small monthly fee to be your guarantor for your apartment. They team up with landlords for their portfolio, so you pay a fee, but it's a smaller fee spread out across a couple of months, right? Maybe your whole lease term. Insurance charges you that fee up front. So you'll probably pay 1 month or so, whatever, or let's just write 1 month fee, whatever. In order for them to be your guarantor, they are accepted by a lot of landlords, but not the mom and pop guys, okay? So if you want cheap rents and stuff like that, you're not gonna get Insurance or Rhino and those type of things because they work with the bigger landlords, okay? So yeah, Insurance, the guarantors, we'll just write the Guarantors, whatever, however the hell you spell that, doesn't matter to me. Okay, so those are the three that we have in the city, unless I'm missing one. Okay, no, I don't think so. I'm missing one. No, that's it. So that's it for your guarantors. Now, let's talk about something illegal, okay? And you guys probably didn't see this or did see it coming. Airbnb. Airbnb-O-N. Okay, whatever. You know what I wrote. Airbnb. This sucker right here is illegal, okay? So for those of you who are the international people who need apartments, but for some reason can't get a guarantor or something like that, usually what happens is you guys end up renting at Airbnbs or you guys do subletting. Okay, subletting is when somebody has an apartment that's given to them by the landlord, and they then decide, oh well, I'm going to be moving for a few months to go, I don't know, vacation or whatever the case might be, and I let somebody sublet in my space. So basically, they give you a couple of months, they charge a little bit more for it because obviously their lease is cheaper for them. They're going to upcharge you, of course, because you can't get approved by a landlord. So subletting, right? Airbnb, in any lease that you get in New York City, Airbnb is illegal. There's gonna be a rider that says no Airbnb. No. No. Okay? Now, if you decide to play games with your lease, which people do, I've had one client ask me, can I Airbnb my apartment? I told her, I said, listen, your apartment has a rider in it in your lease that says no Airbnb. If you want to Airbnb your apartment, that's your business. I have nothing to do with that, and I'm not going to get involved in there. However, you're going to avoid your lease, then you're going to end up in landlord-tenant court, and then nobody's going to want to touch you after that. It's over. You've got a great apartment, stay your ass out of trouble, and just finish out your lease. That's what I told her. My clients, I can be real with them. I'm a real estate agent. Part of my title is being real. Thank you. Now, Airbnb, not legal, okay? Great places to hang out, great places to do parties and all this other crap. However, for the rental portion, if you want to go the illegal route, that's on you. Hopefully nothing happens to you, so on and so forth, okay? But yes, Airbnb is not legal, even though they still have it in New York City. They worked out some type of deal. I don't know what it is, but landlords put it in their leases. So if you have a lease from your landlord, you might want to look it over, and most likely it's going to say no Airbnb. This is big, okay? So just want to keep that in mind. No Airbnb. But I get it, some people want to make money. They do whatever it is that they need to do, I'm not judging. But I don't partake in that. I don't put listings up on Airbnb, none of that. Don't ask me about it, all right? That's as far as I'm going with Airbnb. All right? So, last but not least, am I missing anything? Photo ID, of course. We don't really need to get into that, photo ID. Your tax return. Yes, of course, you're going to bring that. But there's one important thing that most people never talk about, and that is that landlord meeting. Landlord meeting. Right? Some landlords, if they're big or they're small, right, especially when they're small, they usually require a meeting. They want to sit down, talk to you, see who you are, blah, 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 ask you a couple questions. And, it's not uncommon for a smaller landlord to do this. If it was a bigger landlord, bigger landlords really just sit down, sign the paperwork, ask you questions if you have any, questions about your lease, so on and so forth. But the smaller landlords, it's a little bit more intimate. They want to get to know who you are and why you wanted their space and So should you come across this, don't freak out. It's just some simple stuff. You go in there, yes, blah, blah, blah. And you always want to be nice, okay? Do not be rude. Don't come in with your chest all out and, landlords really don't like that vibe, okay? Remember, your landlord has more money than you, okay? Typically, they have way much more money than you. These broken buildings that are older than me and you put together, trust me, there's a lot of wealth coming from it, okay? So, always want to be nice, always want to be respectful, answer the questions. If you guys have questions, great time to ask those, There's nothing wrong with asking questions, making sure everything is good to go. All right, that's very important landlord meeting. All right. Okay, so let's say you've done your lease signing, you have your apartment. What should you do? Well, I always tell my clients, or I always do what I do with my clients is when we sign the lease, I like to make sure that the landlord knows, hey, look, this apartment should be in ready condition. Oops. Oh my God. Okay, let's just fix that. It should be in ready. Why am I forgetting this A? Condition. All right, so if my lease starts, let's call it, what are we, 21st today of November? If my lease starts December 1st, and let's say somebody was living in the apartment, I need to make sure that when that person moves out, the apartment is paint, cleaned, prepped, and ready for me to move in, and whatever damages that the previous tenant has done does not fall on to me, okay? So you can sign a lease before your lease starts, but just make sure you walk that apartment with your management prior to moving in, okay? That way they know, hey, look, this is damaged. I give you an example. I had a girl, and I have stories for days. I had a girl. She was looking for an apartment. We went to go show her some apartments in the East Village, right? So there was one, she had a 60-pound dog. Now, I just want to be first to tell you, dogs, in my opinion, landlords don't really like pets. There was this big push to have owners not take a lot of pets, but for some reason in Manhattan, you see a lot of pets. So you're like, well, landlords aren't really pet friendly. Why is it that there's a lot of pets around here? And a lot of people like to smuggle them in after they moved in. But now, because we have all this new construction, the buildings now are way much more pet friendly than they used to be. But anyways, so yeah, she had a 60-pound dog, which a 60-pound dog is always a problem. Anything over 50 pounds is usually a problem, okay? Why? Because a lot of landlords don't take big dogs. A lot of landlords like to keep the minimum to 25 pounds. Some of them require you to have the photograph ID. Some of them want to see your dog before you sign the lease. It's a lot, right? And then there's some buildings that are like 50, 60-pound dog. Who cares? Go. Now, so she had a 60-pound dog at the time, and we told her, look, you have a 60-pound dog. This is gonna be an issue. This is not gonna be easy for you. She's like, yeah, I understand, blah, blah, blah. I want to live with the dog. She had the option of leaving the dog in Long Island with her mother, but she wanted her dog. And, what am I gonna say? How dare you keep your dog? It's either your dog or your apartment. I would never say anything like that. You like your dog? You like your dog. I like her dog too. So, the dog's name was Harry, by the way. I saw him big, looked like a little horse. So, we went to a couple of buildings. There was one building in particular that we went to. It was a penthouse unit. I think it was asking $35 at the time. Yeah, $3,500. So we were like, oh, okay, great. Big open space for the dog to just gallop all over the place, right? We were the first applicants there, right? So we submitted our application, so on and so forth. All of a sudden, now the landlord started playing games with us, right? We want to pick up the phone for our, calls and this and that. We're like, hey, what the hell's going on, man? Like, for real. We just submitted all the documentation that we needed. My client was first. You told me my client was first. Now, all of a sudden, now you're slow to get back to me on the approval. So all of a sudden now, we find out the landlord calls back. Unfortunately, we had another applicant who applied before you, and we're gonna give it to them. My client was pissed. I was pissed. Man, I just wanted to pick up the phone and be like, let me come down to the office. How dare you? You know what I mean? I was ready to super kick that sucker. So, but I said, all right, let me calm down. We lost that one. I said, okay, let me show you another one. So we're gonna go see another apartment. This apartment's the same price, but it's like half the size. It's probably like the size of this room. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. But one provision was she can't have a dog in the apartment. So we made sure that the apartment was prepped and cleaned. We told her, take your dog, keep your dog in Long Island, and you can periodically bring your dog. You know what I mean? But the apartment needed work, right? The apartment was being worked on, the one that she loved so much. We signed the lease, right? I told her, look, the lease is signed now. You're gonna move in a few days. Let me go into the apartment and take a look at all the stuff that needs to be worked on, right? So I go back to the apartment now. The guy's big holes in the floor. The kitchen sink is damaged. The missing light fixtures, missing the fridge, missing. No, the stove was there. Yeah, the stove was there. And a whole bunch of little knick-knack stuff, right? So then I go downstairs. I meet the lady who's in charge of running the building. I said, listen, my client just signed the lease today. Just signed it. I just came back from lease signing, but we have some damage in the apartment, okay? I need you to come take a look at it to make sure that my client's not on the hook for these damages. So, workers are working in the apartment though. Now, pay attention. So we go inside. I go, look. Here's the sink here that's damaged. Over here, it's got a crack in it. So she goes, oh, well, we had put that sink in there and there was no damage. Oh, maybe one of the construction guys must have did that. So I'm like, oh shit. Wow, you mean to tell me you was gonna put that on my client? Oh no. So now I was like, all right, well. I said, listen, the fridge is missing. What's going on with this? Oh, when we're gonna give, she said we're gonna give her a temporary fridge, white fridge, right? Gonna put it in, and once the stainless steel fridge comes in, they're gonna swap that out, give her the stainless steel one. I said, okay. I said, what about these big ass holes over here? What's going on with that? Oh, the guys over here gonna plaster this and this, that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, cool. And I went over to the windows and said, the windows is okay. There's no issues with the windows, blah, blah, blah. And everything's fine, boom. So once that was done, I called her. I called my client, I said, listen, we just had a meeting over there. We went over everything. She was gonna charge you for the kitchen, for the stove, the bathroom sink that was damaged. But obviously you just signed that lease. You can't even move in the apartment. That's not your responsibility. And once everything was taken care of, she was able to move in, no problem, easy peasy. So it's very important that before you move in, the apartment is in ready condition, okay? You do not want to be on the hook for somebody else, all right? Don't you move into that apartment and you didn't do your walkthrough with your landlord. You should always do it, or at least video your own walkthrough, okay? So yes, that is very important. People sometimes neglect this. This happens a lot when people have walls up. They put like temporary walls in their apartment to divide the apartment into 2 or 3 bedrooms or whatever they need. And sometimes they don't take down the wall and it becomes an issue. So if you don't take down your wall and you just abandon it, first they're gonna charge you, but then they're gonna charge the new tenant to take down the new wall. Sometimes they'll do it themselves, but if I'm moving into an apartment and that wall's not gonna be there when I move in, landlord, you take that sucker down now, all right? Because I'm not paying for that. Just want to let you guys know. So I think I covered everything else that I need to cover in here. I don't think so I'm missing anything. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's basically it. The only thing I didn't talk about is actually going and touring your apartments and stuff like that. I mean that's easy work. You go out, you come to the office, you sit down, you present your paperwork, and we then go and pick out the best apartments for you based on what you want. Moving, you should be looking, let's call it 30 days from the day that you need to move in. You shouldn't be looking 3 months in advance. The only people that do that is people from out of town, people from another country. But if you live in New York, there's no reason to look 3 months in advance because most likely you will not be getting the same apartment that you liked 3 months ago, okay? Sometimes it does happen. I've heard the videos on YouTube about it, but typically, no. So if you're willing to break your lease and then pay double rent, I guess that works for you. Hey, no problem. You can eat the fee. You can eat that portion, no problem. But if you can't and you need to move into your apartment the minute your lease is over, then it should be 30 days in advance, okay? Because renting an apartment in New York City, it doesn't take that long as you cooperate. The minute you calling one person, that person, this person, now you're just messing up your chance. Stick with one person. If you're gonna use an agent, you should call me, definitely. But if not, then hey, go through the hoopla. But I wish you guys the best. That was my how to rent in New York City the proper way. Share the video, subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be a buying series. Then we're gonna have our credit video as well. We're gonna do tours and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.